Thank you for joining us today. So we're doing an interview with Matt Ambrose, who I've known for several years. How many years have we known each other?
Probably 3.
3? I think probably like 4.
Maybe 4? Okay. Possible.
Time flies when you're having fun. So yeah, Matt Ambrose is a home inspector and he is with Skyway Home Inspection. And today I want to ask you, and I want to show that the people that are watching here today, I want them to know why use you. Why hire Matt?
Well, why hire me? Well, I have a background in real estate. So I've been a licensed realtor for 22 years.
Okay.
And I think that kind of helped out with inspections. And so I do a little bit better job of discussing issues and things that pop up in inspections with customers, and that makes them feel comfortable. So that has a lot to do with.
You do. People like you.
Yeah.
He was so nice when he came. He was so informative and he helped me.
Well, I think it helps if you explain things to people where they're not panicking about things that need to be repaired or issues that might come up or further inspections that are needed. Because if they get panicky on that, then they just kind of throw up their hands and like, that's too much. And it's a bad way to look at things. So I think coming from the real estate background, I did a lot of investment property myself, so I know everything about houses that you could possibly imagine and what you have to do to fix it and what you got to do to, just address any of those things that come up. So,
and like I said, you do it at ease too, because people are panicked about it, and people always ask, well, how do you know him? Do you trust him? Do you? So I'd like to say you're the only person that I use.
Well,
so I can even tell you I don't use other people. I use Matt. So when I get a chance to use him, that's who I always. Well,
you're part of my core group. So there's a core group of realtors that just use me, and that makes me feel good because when people don't come back for business, that's bad. So you have to say, okay, well, these people use me because obviously they like me for a reason, and I'm hoping that I'm doing everything right. It's hard to get feedback from people when you don't do something right. Exactly. They just kind of disappear. So
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So then tell me this: what got you into this business? I mean, like what is it that you really truly love about this business? Because I want people to know. This is the reason I do these interviews. Is I want people to know, why am I using Matt Ambrose? What sets him apart? What's your passion about this? What is it that why use you? What got you into this?
Well, I really enjoy real estate. So real estate has always been something that I've kind of gone towards. Is I always kind of lean towards something in real estate, and I got into sales, and sales were good. Back in the early 2000s, I did some mortgages along the way. Of course, I was.
You were a mortgage lender?
I was a mortgage lender.
We have a lot in common.
I was 30 years old trying to figure out where I fit and all this stuff. And then, of course, I got into investing, because if you weren't investing at the time, you were losing a lot of money.
You weren't making money.
So I started doing some flips and so on and so forth. And then the crash came, so '08. So then you had to kind of reevaluate everything. So got out of that for a little while and did some other stuff, and then just realized, this market's finally going to come back and I need to get back in. So I started doing more real estate, and I just didn't enjoy myself anymore. I was not having fun. There wasn't enough transactions involved. And a friend of mine had a home inspection, and he said, "Why aren't you doing that?" He's like, "You know everything about houses." And I was like, "Yeah, I never thought about it." And so that's what I ended up doing, is just going out and.
How many years has this been now exactly?
5.
Then? Doing the math, I was like 2008. So okay. So what year did you start then?
I guess it would be 18?
Yeah,
18.
5 years ago. Okay, great.
So so I started there. I had a friend in Sarasota that did it, who was an inspector, and he'd been an inspector for 4 or 5 years at the time. And he said, "I'll help you out."
Cool.
And I started working under him, and then I since we lived in different areas, it wasn't really a competing type of thing.
Sure.
And he does very well too. So I said, okay. He gave me business, and then I started forming my business up here, and then I've kind of just snowballed into it. So very fortunate.
I think one of the things I really like about what you do is 4 points are not always ordered. People always don't need those. But I like that you actually do them. You kind of go through the process of it, but if somebody wants a 4 point, it's an additional cost. And I like that a lot, because what happens is if you need a 4-point and that the owner doesn't know about that, or if the realtor doesn't tell the buyer that they need a 4-point, then you have to go back and call the inspector back out again, get another 4-point. Oh, I got to go back out there. The first time I get out there is Tuesday. I like that you think ahead and you just kind of do it. It's just part of what you do. And you also tell the buyer too, hey, you need this and this is why. You do a lot of education.
What I've learned is that people coming from other states, they don't have those types of they don't get a wind mitigation. They don't even get 4 points in other states. So they don't know. And they don't know that as soon as they try to get insurance, that's what the insurance company's going to ask for. You got a 4-point. So, I mean, I'm taking 250 plus pictures at every home. So while I'm doing it, I better take all those things that need to, fill in those blanks. So,
you and I know what a wind mid is, but do you want to, don't even say a 4-point. What's the purpose? Tell the audience what the purpose is of actually getting a 4-point. What does it do?
So the purpose of a 4-point and a wind mitigation, 4-point inspection is basically for the insurance company to determine what systems and what the age of the systems are on the home. So you're going to go through your electrical system. Is it original electrical? Has it been updated? Plumbing. Is it original plumbing? Has it been updated? Air conditioner. What year is the air conditioner? The roof. What year is the roof? What kind of roof is it? How much life does it have left, most importantly? So that's the 4-point. And the wind mitigation is basically a insurance type of discount, which is based on how your home is put together. So whether it has hurricane windows or shutters, or what year the roof is, when it was nailed last, does it have hurricane straps, so on and so forth. So there's no passing or failing necessarily. It's whether it's insurable or more expensive.
Yep, exactly.
So that's the two. Everybody says, "Oh, is it passing?" Well, I don't even like to issue a 4-point that has problems on it. I would rather address those problems first and then say, okay, let's go back and provide a correct 4-point so that you don't have any issues with the insurance company. Because as soon as that pops up, then they're going to say, have these been fixed? Who fixed them?
How many deals have you and I done where we've had to get the roof fixed first? And we've just done that, taken care of that and wrapped that up. So it's nice and neat transition where you're just wrapping that up ahead of time.
You're going to have a hard time getting, a lot of times you'll get a binder on the insurance, but that insurance is going to be higher. And then they'll say, oh yeah, well you have to have a roof done within the first 30 days. And then you got to go back and then you got to say, okay, well I want a cheaper rate. Well, that's never going to happen. So you might as well get it done first.
Do it up front. Same thing with lending too. So you and I both can talk about that. Same thing. Somebody has a budget to work in or a parameter if it's not a cash buyer. I need this insurance, I need this loan, but the roof is shot, so I need to get a new roof. Get it done now so that your rates are actually, you can get that done, taken care of, because the insurance affects that mortgage rate.
It's all based off of what you're doing at that time, not later. And they're not going to come off of that number.
No. So it's kind of like going in and buying a car and saying, I just bought it, but I actually wanted the windows tinted. Well, we'll charge you for it, but get it done in the negotiation ahead of time. Great.
So,
okay.
But with that, you just got to keep in mind that when those things come up, it's a negotiation. Everything's a negotiation, and regardless of whether it's the initial deal or the inspection, you have that period of inspection to say, okay, we're either going to need this fixed or we're going to need to have it fixed at some point in time. We need to credit towards this. A lot of customers don't do it, but if you're listing a property, a lot of people won't say, I need a pre-inspection on my property that I'm selling. Well, something happens where you have a outdated electrical panel. And instead of that electrical panel being fixed and being able to shop around and get a better deal on that electric panel, you're going to come down to contract time, and we got to do it now, and we got to get the first person that can come out here as soon as possible. You're going to be paying more. So instead of trying to take care of the problem first and then dealing with it before the sale, well, now you're going to have to be under the clock and have whatever is done. Same way with a roof, same way with any plumbing or whatever. So that's why I always say, kind of take a look at the property before we put the
too
for sale
far
sign out there.
down the rabbit hole, right? So I want to know what brought you to Florida. I'm sure everybody else wants to know. What brought you to Florida? Why here?
I came to Florida when I was 15 years old. My parents were cold and from Cincinnati, and we moved down, and I never looked back. I moved to Venice and went to Venice High School and basically graduated high school there, and then I went off to the Navy and spent my time in the military, and then got out of the military, came back to Florida, did some moving around, trying to figure out where I wanted to plant my feet. Ended up back in Sarasota.
What'd you do in the Navy?
I was in communications. I was a radioman.
Okay.
So I was on a Spruance class destroyer and did a lot of traveling. So
Awesome.
we were an independent steamer, and we went everywhere by ourselves.
Nice.
So it was something. I went around the Horn of Africa and over the Arctic Circle, if that tells you anything. So.
Very cool. My son is deployed right now. I have no idea where he's at. He's been gone for 3 months, and we're very excited for him to get back. So, yeah. Okay, so you and I know each other from mutual friends, but you also have a love of motorcycles like I do.
I do.
You have, what do you have? Tell everybody what you have.
I have a 2010 Street Glide right now.
Okay.
And I've been riding for a long time.
Nice.
One of those jobs that I had when I was in between the real estate crash was I sold motorcycles wholesale, and I did that for 3 years.
I think you've done just about everything.
Buying and selling motorcycles. It was a blast.
See, that's fun. So I can see you doing
It was
that
fun.
for
It was
sure.
fun.
Right.
You know, why I waited for the market basically to come back.
Do you work on your own bike?
I do.
You do.
Yeah, to a point. I'm not as much into turning wrenches anymore than I used to be, but
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today. Is there anything else that you want people to know about you? What do you want people to know about how to hire you, how to get a hold of you, what your specialty is?
well, call Jamie.
Yeah, call
Call Jamie. No, as far as that goes, I'm always open and available. I'll always answer my phone.
You're
and
available quickly too.
I am very quick.
Matt's very busy. You're very busy.
Busy.
But I've met you in Spring Hill. I've met you everywhere, and it's always within a day or two. I don't have to wait and put. It's nice. You're very available.
I've adjusted schedules. I've moved people around. Mostly everybody is okay with that, just because they know how schedules go with different transactions. So been fortunate with that, where I haven't had too many people say, no, we can't do that. It's got to be right now. And I also try to make room for the people who are consistent with using me. So.
Well, thank you. I enjoy working with you. So. I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched this episode of the interview here with Matt today. So again, it's Matt Ambrose, and he's with Skyway Home Inspection. So all the information you guys want to get a hold of me, Jamie at Preferred Shore, or Matt here is going to be down below in the notes. So have a great day, and thanks for joining us.